What's going on, everybody? How we feeling? We are here. It's live. We're Tuesday. We're one day away from the NFL schedule release. I can't wait. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely super hyped for the schedule release tomorrow. We get to find out who the heck the Niners are playing. Well, when they're playing. We know who they're playing. We get to finally find out when the heck these games are going down. I'm a hype, man. I can't wait for this. We've been waiting all off season for the schedule drop, because now then you can kind of like think about the games you want to go to. Then you can think about who do you think they're going to be, and then you can like predict a record. Obviously, it's early, but everybody's going to do record prediction. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about it, and yeah, tomorrow I can't wait. Hyped up, man. I'm so excited, and I'm we're less than 24 hours away. By this time tomorrow, we're going to know the schedule, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, how's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. And how many games am I going to go to this year? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. If it was Warrior season, they'd ban me from the games because I'm a bad luck jinx apparently to everybody. But I don't know. We'll see. The thing about going to games, like sometimes I don't get tickets ahead of time because I'll get tickets like randomly the night before or like Sunday. That I get people that hook me up with tickets. Thankfully, I'm blessed. I'm so happy that can happen. And I don't know, but road games, I definitely want to plan some road games. Those ones are always fun, and I'm definitely gonna make sure I go to at least 1 or 2 road games this year, because those are such a vibe, man. That is such a fun time to go to a road game. Last year I went to a road game in Green Bay, and that was, man, going to Lambeau was fantastic. And then I also did a road game in Arizona the year before. I've been to SoFi Stadium, Levi South, right? Everybody's been to. That's a fun one to go to. So I don't know. We'll see. Depends on what, games are when, and what else is going on in my life. But I try to make sure to go at least a couple of games. Home games, I go to a lot of them. So we're going to be fun. What time is the schedule release? Says AJ Bermudez. AJ, the time is 5 p.m. Pacific is when the schedule drops. So 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's always standard time when they're going to release it. But there's going to be a lot of rumors. There's going to be a lot of leaks. That's what people do. There's a lot of fake reports, a lot of rumors and things like that. And so that leads me to today's top story. The 49ers are reported or rumored. There's a rumor going on that the 49ers are going to have their season opener on the road against the Seahawks on September 7th. So we shall see. This is according to Dave Mahler. He works for Seattle radio, and he knows a lot about the Seattle sports, community. So the rumor is 49ers Seahawks game 1. We get to start on a division battle if the rumor is true, and that's pretty dope. And the thing is, the Niners, they typically never start at home. Like, it's very rare that they start the season on home. I mean, every once in a while, but I'm pretty sure that the 49ers, I haven't looked at the stats or anything or, the reports, but I just always vividly remember the 49ers starting on the road to like open the season. Usually that's what it feels like. And then like their home openers, like a week after or the second week or whatnot. So we'll see, but I'm sure the 49ers are going to drop that news tomorrow. They always tease us with like one big update. Usually early in the morning, like 6 o'clock p.m. or 6 o'clock a.m. in the morning over here. So I think there's going to be a scheduled tease for the 49ers. And, according to them, they'll post like their home opener. They usually do that. They usually say, okay, home opener is boom, here it is. And then week 1, boom. Like, so they'll do something like that. And there's going to be leaks throughout the day. But 5 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, we're going to know the exact schedule. And I'm excited. But yeah, according to the rumors right now, the Seahawks and the Niners week 1 in Seattle. Right off the bat, it's time to go through the division. And the rookies were talking a lot. CJ West, right? He said some stuff about Seattle's safety that they drafted. He also was saying stuff about the Niners, how he can't wait. He said some choice words a couple of weeks ago. So these rookies are talking it up. And again, this is a rivalry. There's no, love lost. Everybody knows what's at stake. This is a beautiful rivalry. And it's one of those where you got to win right off. Every game's a must-win game. But right off the bat, division game. You don't want to start 0-1. You don't want to start the season 0-1. So this is going to be an important game right off the jump of the season, especially for the 49ers. They want to get a little bit of momentum this year. They want to start on a good foot. Because last year was a depressing season. So definitely got to get off to a good start. And what better start than beating your rival, Seattle Seahawks? And it's interesting because Seahawks, they got Cooper Kupp, right? They added him. They lost Lockett. They lost DK Metcalf, right? They lost Geno Smith. They got Sam Darnold. It's a whole new team over there with the Seahawks. They got a lot of young draft picks. 49ers, same thing. They lost a lot of players like Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, right? A lot of starters on the defensive side. And we're going to see they lost Deebo Samuel, right? Brandon Ayuk's going to be injured. So going to be a very interesting game one between teams that it's a lot of new faces in that division rivalry game. So Darnold versus Purdy, says AJ. Absolutely. Mario says, I doubt we get five primetime games this year. I think 3 max. Drip says, how many primetime games do you think we're going to have? I also agree, probably 3. Now, 3 is a good number for a team that won 6 games last year. Typically, the 49ers get about 5 primetime games. But now, if they're good, they might get flexed up later in the season. So that's something you got to keep an eye on. But I think off the bat, the 49ers are going to get 3 primetime games. There's going to be like some Thursday night game. They usually have some Thursday night game, right? A rivalry game between, division opponent, either Arizona or Seattle or LA. There's always like some NFC West division Thursday night game. They're good for that. There's probably going to be a Sunday night game. I'm sure there'll be a Sunday night game. Niners always have a good rivalry. At some point, you can throw them on Sunday night. And, again, 49ers are a team that a lot of people want to see. They have a big fan base. They still get a lot of viewerships, even though they lost a lot of games last year. They're still a big draw. I mean, you see all the Niner fans travel to the away stadiums. It's a very big draw. People still tune in for the 49ers, and people hope that they're going to be better this year, right? CMC, Jennings, Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. They got a lot of players that sell seats, sell tickets, and people want to see, right? At Trent Williams and et cetera, et cetera. So 49ers are going to be able to get at least 3 primetime games. They might get a Monday night game. They might might throw them a bone and give them a Monday night game here. So we'll see. But I do think they'll get 3. I'd be shocked if they get 5. But again, you can't be too shocked because the 49ers are a team, again, that people love to see. So we'll see. And it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. Taj says, we're so slept on this year, underdogs. I love it. I love being the underdog. I love being the team that's slept on. A lot of people are underrating us, and I think that bodes well for the 49ers, right? They're going to keep the receipts. They're a team that thrives as the underdog. They're a team that thrives when, they're counted against and they're doubted. These players, they've been through this so many years, right? Kittle and Fred Warner and Bosa, they've seen all the nonsense. They've seen all the tea. They've seen all the hatred, the doubting over the years, and they play really strong when they're, a team that nobody expects to win. They come on the radar, and they end up surprising people. And, let's think about it. 2018, right? Jimmy gets hurt. The whole season was bad. They get Nick Bosa, and then they rebolstered the defense, and everything was primed for a big bounce back, and boom, went to Super Bowl that year. Oh, my God. It was like a hell of a season. They went off, got a hot start. They had a pretty easy schedule that year, if you really think about it. 2021, right? In 2020, right? COVID year, it was horrible. They couldn't even play in their stadium. They had a lot of injuries. The MetLife curse, Nick Bosa, ACL, all this bad stuff happened. And then 2021, it was a bounce back season, right? Boom, NFC Championship. Now, the end result wasn't great, but they had a good season. It was a bounce back year. Now, last year, 6 wins, a lot of injuries. Players were, torn up. They didn't live up to their expectations. Super Bowl hangover. This year, they got an easy schedule. They probably could bounce back and make a far run to the playoffs. Now, I don't know, maybe, but if you look at the history of the Niners under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, there's usually like a big couple of years where they do good. And then there's like that 1 year in between that's like, oh man, they fell short. Injuries happen. It's kind of like a reset. So if history repeats itself, this could be a big season for the 49ers. And I think because, an easier schedule might help them out. But at the same time, they do have a lot of young players. So I'm going to temper my expectations when we make these predictions tomorrow. But at the end of the day, I still think they can win at least 10 games, right? Easy schedule, but it is a young team. They're going to go through growing pains. They're going to go through some stretches where you're like, oh, big rookie mistake, and it's a very, very, very rookie-laden defensive line. So we'll see. They're due for some clunkers here and there. Sometimes the 49ers lose some games that you're like, how did they lose that game? And not only that, any team in the NFL, sometimes they lose a game that they probably had no business losing. It's just the NFL. So 831, Alex says 4. Peter Rouse says, I can't wait for the season. Me neither. MSQ says, am I going live with Larry tonight? Yeah, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. We'll be live with Larry. And, see what he wants to talk about. And I'll probably give my take on everything, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll be live with Larry tonight at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. So big news schedule, right? 49ers, they got a lot of I think there's going to be more than just the schedule. They kind of been teasing, the jerseys. There's supposed to be like some new rival jerseys. NFC West is one of the divisions that get these jerseys. There's a lot of rumors out there. Now, today they dropped some like new social media. What do they do? Let me pull up the news. So they pulled up some like a new visual refresher. So the 49ers, they kind of refreshed their social media branding, and they got like new colorways and like new tabs and new headers and new PFPs and all this stuff, like a whole new refreshed brand kit for the 49ers on their creative and social. But I feel like it's a little bit more deep. Like I feel like they're going to use this theme, these colors, to maybe drop a jersey. I don't know. A lot of people are speculating. There's a lot of rumors, right? They've changed like the script. They're going to use the faithful script. I don't know. There's something brewing, and I think we're going to have more than just the schedule drop. I don't know. Call me crazy. We'll see. I hope the social media team eats this schedule release up, because typically, I'm not going to lie to you, I love the social media 49ers team, and they do a good job. I know they do a lot of hard work, but on schedule day, on media day, on the schedule drop, some teams just outdo themselves, and they're so creative, and I'm like, man, can we just have a creative team? Like the Chargers always go crazy. I hope the 49ers have really brought the heat. I mean, it's fun to have a cool, schedule release and do something innovative. There's some teams that are just like hilarious. They do skits. It's just funny. So I hope the 49ers have a really good one instead of something generic like a song or like the Bosa, the fake Bosa. I don't know. Those ones to me were like kind of compared to the other teams. So I really hope they bring the hype. Either way, we're going to be, super excited. But when you have a really good viral, like amazing schedule release, it gets people more excited. And I think we need to have more enthusiasm, just more excitement for the fan base. I think it goes a long way. So social media team has a hard job. But I hope they bring the heat tomorrow for schedule release. So thoughts on the Mavs winning the draft lottery? We'll talk about that. Fake Bosa was so corny. I think it's so cringy. I hate that thing, but to each their own. Some people like it. It's not my cup of tea. Alex said Jordan Watkins is going to be a fire. I hope so. I hope all the rookies are going to be good. Last year we had a good draft class. I hope this year's draft class is good, but we'll see. Now the 49ers, speaking of wide receivers, Jordan Watkins, rookie wide receiver. We know that he's in there and he's been working hard. All the rookies have been really working hard. A lot of people are excited about him and many of the rookies, as they should. The 49ers did make an attempt to test out a wide receiver over the last couple of days. So we know Gabe Davis was at the 49ers facility for a tryout. He didn't sign. He did go to the Giants today for a tryout. So Gabe Davis was hosted by the Giants today. He visited the Niners yesterday, so he's still testing the waters. According to the source that originally threw this information, Coach Yak yesterday, he, actually on the weekend, he reported this, and then it got confirmed yesterday for major media. And so a bit of part of that situation is Gabe Davis is recovering from offseason knee injury, and he's rehabbing. So that's part of the reason maybe why the 49ers didn't just sign him right away. He's also weighing his options. He's going to the New York Giants or he went today. It's later in the day. So he went to the Giants for a tryout. He went to the 49ers for a tryout. But there's also one more team that is rumored that he's going to go try out for. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if he goes and sees them tomorrow, but the rumor is he's testing the waters with the Giants, the Steelers, and the 49ers. We'll see if any one of those teams sign him. But again, he's coming off a knee injury, so if any one of these teams signs him, they got to understand that, he's going through rehab. He should be ready for training camp, but that's something to keep in the back of the mind if you're going to pay a player. Like, you are going through injury. Like for the 49ers, right? Let's say they sign him. They know he's going through injury. Brandon Ayuk's going through an injury. Are you going to replace the guy that's going through injury with the guy that's going through injury? You got to make sure it's a smart investment. And also Demarcus Robinson, he may get suspended for 3 games. So are you going to replace a guy that gets suspended for a few games with a guy that's going through injury and your other guy's going through injury? So it may not make sense for the 49ers to sign Gabe Davis. I wouldn't mind it. He's a decent veteran, and, he can help this team because they're going to need depth at wide receiver. So I wouldn't hate it, but he does have some issues going on that may limit the 49ers from signing him. So we'll see. That is in the news. I wanted to talk about that. And speaking about in the news, today the 49ers went and signed a cornerback, undrafted cornerback, Derek Canteen out of Cincinnati. They signed him to a 3-year deal, another undrafted player that the 49ers could develop. And we'll see. So the team waived safety Quindell Johnson. They waived him. He probably wasn't even going to make the team or practice squad. And you get a young player in Derek Canteen, who I think he led the league in 2020 or 20. A couple of years back, he was one of the top interception getters in college football. Guy has talent. He's just, never really stuck anywhere. He hasn't been able to get drafted, or he was undrafted. So it's a guy with some talent. But, sometimes the 49ers find these gems. We'll see. 3-year deal, young guy, and let's see if he can maybe make a name for himself and at least make the practice squad. So the 49ers have been busy adding depth, maybe practice squad guys, maybe depth pieces, maybe, camp bodies, who knows. But they have been adding players over the last couple of days. Yesterday was, Stone Blanton. Today was Derek Canteen. So they're adding depth. They're adding young players. And I think that's the goal of the 49ers. Keep on stacking talent that you can put on the roster, put on the practice squad, develop, see if they can make this team and crack the final roster at some point. But, low risk, high kind of reward type guy if he can hit his ceiling. So not a bad move, but it wasn't like, oh my God, they signed like a huge name, but definitely a guy that has some upside. And, there's bigger names out there like Asante Samuel and things like that people want the 49ers to sign, but those guys have a lot of baggage under. Like Asante Samuel actually had neck surgery, and that's why nobody's signed him. He's got a lot of issues right now. So there's been a lot of reports that the 49ers, well, not reports, but a lot of opinions, a lot of people saying the 49ers should sign a guy like Asante Samuel. I love Asante Samuel. I think he's good, but he does have injury risk. He's coming off a neck surgery. So instead, the 49ers get a guy like Derek Canteen, young guy. He's hungry. He wants to prove himself. Doesn't have any neck surgery issues that Asante Samuel has. You bring him into the lineup, and I think that it bodes well for the 49ers. Just adding talent, adding young guys. I think I like what they're doing so far. So Steven Reynolds says, what is my thoughts on Derek Canteen? Boom, you asked, and we just talked about Derek Canteen. I think he has good upside. I don't hate the move. I think it's a decent pickup for the 49ers. So we'll see. I think he could fit well with the 49ers scheme, right? He's a guy that has talent. He just couldn't, he didn't latch on to, I think he was on the Cowboys previously, but he just didn't latch on to their system. Robert Salah, he's good at turning people around. So I don't know. Again, low risk type of signing. He has some upside. I don't hate the move. I think it's better than getting a guy like Asante Samuel, who is coming off of neck surgery, because you don't know what you're going to get out of Asante Samuel. That's a tough injury to deal with. So we'll see. And last but not least, there was a update this morning about international games. And of course, the 49ers, as we know, they officially do not have any international games in the 2025 season. There was a lot of rumors over the last couple of weeks. Maybe the Colts, maybe the Browns, right? Maybe the Jaguars, maybe the Dolphins, maybe this, maybe a lot of people were throwing rumors out that the 49ers were going to play an international game this year. Maybe next year, right? Maybe next year. There's a rumor that the Niners are going to play in Mexico next year. They did it before, and it was a rip-roaring success, and everybody loved it. But this year, there will not be any international games. So if you haven't got a passport, you're safe. You don't need a passport to go to any NFL games, unless you go to one of his following games. The Chargers, week 1 in Brazil. They haven't announced their opponent, but I think it's going to be the Chiefs, according to the rumors. And then you got the Steelers and Vikings are going to play in Dublin. And then you got the Vikings and the Browns are playing. That's crazy, dude. The Vikings back-to-back week international game. If you're a Vikings fan, that kind of sucks. You're 2 games, you have to go and travel internationally. Like, it doesn't suck, but I mean, some people can't afford to go internet. Like, they play September 28th in Dublin and then October 5th in London. That's crazy to me. 2 internet back to back. That's got to be like the first time any team's done that. I'm pretty sure it's the first time. I think I saw that today. It was the first time any team has played back to back weeks internationally. That's crazy, man. You might as well call them the London freaking Vikings or the Dublin Vikings. Who knows? The international Vikings. I mean, they're Vikings, right? International world travelers. They truly are the Vikings. It's crazy. And then you got the Broncos and the Jets in London. You got the Rams and the Jaguars in London. You got the Falcons and the Colts in Berlin. That's where a lot of people thought the 49ers were going to play, possibly in Berlin against the Colts. It ain't going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And now you have the last international game of the season is going to be in Madrid. The Commanders and the Dolphins in Madrid. That's actually a dope. Madrid, shit, I'd love to go to Madrid to watch a football game. That's pretty cool. They're gonna say it's not the real football over here because Madrid, they're big, right? Soccer or football, that's a big football place in Madrid, man. Real Madrid, they got the real deal, soccer team. So we'll see how they like American football over there. But that's pretty cool. But that's it. 49ers aren't going to play any international games this year. I think it's good because the 49ers travel a lot anyways, and that would have just made it even, more taxing on the 49ers in terms of traveling, because you saw the report this morning. The 49ers will still have the 5th most miles traveled in the NFL. They have to travel 28,363 total miles as a team. Now, as you know, teams that are in the West Coast and Florida. So Florida teams, California teams always travel the most for the most part because, I mean, they have to go coast to coast, especially when they go to the East Coast. So you got the Chargers are number 1. They have 37,000 miles to travel, 3786, 37,000 miles of travel for the Chargers. And then the Rams are right behind them at 34,832 miles. And then the Seahawks, 31,302 miles. The Jaguars, 29,006 miles. And then the 49ers, 28,363 miles. Top 5, 49ers. It's nothing new. They always travel around. They're usually in the top 5 in miles traveled because, again, you're on the coast, you're on the West Coast, traveling. If you have an East Coast game, it's a long travel. And, those East Coast trips are rough. But that's it. 49ers have the 5th most miles to travel in the NFL this year. So nothing new. It's just something that happens every year. So Kid says 49ers Raiders Mexico City 2026. That would feed a lot of family. Like, literally would feed families. That would be that's a city that loves their fan base probably loves the 49ers. They probably love the Raiders. It would be a huge success over there. 49ers are beloved in Mexico. So absolutely. Because California, it's a huge place. So I think a lot of their fans would love that. That'd be crazy. Rob says season finale of Andor tonight. Mario Gonzalez says, is Drake Jackson coming back? I do not think he's coming back. They waived him because of a failed physical. I would be very shocked if they brought him back. I think he's done. The 49ers said, hey, here, look, we're going to cut you. You get healthy, go to a team, find a team that might be able to give you a second chance. But unfortunately for you in the 49ers, we don't have any more chances for you. And John Lynch talked about it a few months ago. The knee injury has been very tough for him to recover from. Now he's supposed to, be cleared by the start of training camp. But I don't think the 49ers want to wait and see with him. They've added a lot of defensive linemen, and I don't think he's going to be in the cards because if he comes back and he's not healthy, you're just going to put him on the PUP or IR. It's just not worth it. You got to cut your losses. It's unfortunate. Maybe he can get healthy and go somewhere else. But the 49ers have given him a lot of opportunities, and I just don't think Drake Jackson will be back with the 49ers. It's sad, man. It's unfortunate. I thought he was a good talent, but just couldn't get right because of the knee issues. So, unfortunately. AJ says, I saw that the Bengals 8,700 miles. Why do the Niners always get effed up? Again, because it's a West, right? We're on the West Coast. And if we travel to the Midwest, or if we travel to the East Coast, or if we travel to the South, you're traveling far, man. Just plain and simple, traveling from California anywhere to the other side of the United States, it's a long flight. Even Florida, if you're flying from Florida to any coast, you're traveling very far, and it's unfortunate because that's the way it goes. And I feel like flying out of Florida, if you guys ever do travels and flying and stuff, sometimes if you're traveling out of California and you're going to fly to New York or wherever these places, just for you, it's a very big travel. It's a long trip. It's expensive, Or if you're in the Midwest where there's a lot of teams involved and there's a lot of teams, in the middle of the United States, it's easier. You can drive. Some places you could drive to where you got to go, right? From California. I mean, California, you could drive from like San Francisco to LA. It's not that bad of a trip. If you got to go from San Francisco or San Jose, right? I live in San Jose. If you're going from San Jose and you got to go to, I don't know, to watch a Jaguars game, you can't drive there. Maybe you can drive to, you can drive to Vegas, but that's still a long drive in itself. Most people would probably rather fly into Vegas because it's a 30-minute flight, 60-minute flight. Really, it's an easy flight. So, but it does cost you a lot in traveling. So that is definitely tough to be traveling from the West Coast. So. My man, 49ers First Take says, I might go to the Colts game. Ollie says, bro, Salah and Salah, different names. Coach's name Salah. No comment. Throwback says, what do I think these new uniforms will be? I'm hearing it's gold. I don't know. I've heard a lot of rumors. We see like the colors that they have on their, they showed today on their little rebrand, right? They have 5 colors referenced in the 49ers visual refresh. There's 5 colors. There's a red, there's a white, there's a gold, there's like a cream, there's a black and gold. I don't know. They've tried the black jerseys before. Fans didn't like it, but it didn't have enough gold in it. I don't know. Maybe it's a gold with the red. Who knows? I just hope they don't mess them up. I know they're going to have some new jerseys. I just hope they don't screw them up because, come on, man, don't screw these new jerseys up. But you know what? There's going to be a lot of people that hate them. There's going to be a lot of people that are traditionalists. You can't change the jerseys. You got to keep it red and gold, blah, blah. And then you're going to like the people that love the new, edgy stuff. I just can't make it too, weird. You do have to stay traditional, keep the red and the gold in there, but you can't make it too weird because, look at the Giants. They did a City Connect jersey for the Giants, and those things are an abomination. I think the Warriors have some really good alternate jerseys. They kind of stuck true, but they add a little flair to it. I don't know. I just hope they don't screw up this visual. I don't know what the theme's supposed to be, right? We really haven't had a lot of details with how the 49ers new jersey is supposed to be. We heard a little thing that it's, the rivalry jerseys. Certain divisions are going to get them, and this year the 49ers are one of the teams that get them. So I just hope they don't screw them up, and I just hope that they're nice, really cool-looking jerseys. Because if they're good-looking, definitely going to buy it, and that's the thing. The better they look, the more you're going to sell, bottom line. So all gold. Steven says, there's another rookie player who will not sign a rookie contract, Demetrius Knight. Bengals are the most dumb and super cheap. They have Hendrickson, Stewart, and Knight, who didn't sign with they're kind of going through it, huh? I'm glad we didn't get Shamar Stewart. This guy's not even showing up to rookie minicamp. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm glad the 49ers have really had no drama. They've signed most of their contracts. There's a few rookies that haven't, but they'll iron it out. Brock Purdy's going to get paid, probably within the next couple weeks to months. And then Kittle signed. They'll probably get Fred Warner, his extension done. This has been a great offseason, honestly. There's been no drama, and I love it. So 49ers First Take says, thinking about tomorrow's schedule release, people will be shocked how many losses I predict, even with the league's easiest schedule. I won't be shocked, Aaron. I won't be shocked. Nothing shocks me with my boy Aaron. But if you think about it, you got to. That's what I said earlier. I said, look, a lot of people are going to say the 49ers should have at least 10 wins, and I probably will project them to have 10, 11 wins. We'll see how it goes. But just because it's easy schedule doesn't mean that it's going to be a cakewalk. They're going to just win these games automatically. Still got to play. You have a very young team. The O-line is still, not the most elite O-line in the group. Will they be able to stay healthy and protect Brock? Now, they did add some offensive linemen in the offseason in free agency that people are not, realizing. And they did draft an offensive lineman. So they have added some guys, but are they going to be good enough to make sure Brock stays upright? And can they get the running game going? Will Christian McCaffrey be able to be healthy? If Christian McCaffrey's not healthy, that changes so much for the 49ers. So a lot hinges on the health, just like it always does. So I think the easy thing to say is, 49ers are going to win 10 games, 11, 12, 13. Everybody's going to be hyped up, right? That's what we always do. But realistically, there will be some losses that you don't expect because it's a very young team. They're going to have some growing pains. So if you say the Niners are going to have 10 losses, I wouldn't say it's a bad take because it is a very young team and other teams improved. Like, we got to be realistic that, I know we have easy schedule, but these other teams have improved and they're going to try to look at us on this. Like, a lot of teams, you got to be honest with yourself. After last season, a lot of teams probably are looking at the schedule, and when they see the 49ers, they're probably thinking it's still victory. It's an easy win. But we also did talk about that, hey, the 49ers are being overlooked. They're being slept on, and that bodes well for the 49ers. So a lot of teams may pencil the 49ers as a win. A lot of media people are going to pencil the 49ers in as a win, as a loss, right? But that's where the 49ers can use that motivation and turn it around. So we'll see. I don't think the media is going to project the 49ers to win a lot of games, maybe 8, maybe 9. But if the 49ers can prove a few doubters wrong here and there, should be able to win 11 games at least. But we'll see. I'm excited for tomorrow's schedule release. So 49ers First Take says Rams as of now are best in the West. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that right now. They added, some really good players, Devontae Adams, bolstered that team through the draft like they did last year. There's, Matt Stafford, good. If he stays healthy, they should be able to win that division. They got Kyron Williams, but that's why they play the games, my boy. But, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited for tomorrow's schedule release, and that's pretty much it. There's not a lot more news. We'll wait and see what else happens. We talked about pretty much everything else. There hasn't been many other updates other than what we just talked about, but we will be live again tonight. I'll be live with Larry, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, and we'll see how it goes. My boy Throwback says, you got to go to Houston since you're from Texas. Yeah, all my family that lives in Texas wants me to come down to watch the game this summer, this season. So we'll see. We shall see. Well, I don't know. But, Houston might be a fun one to go to. So Lino says Warriors are done. Oh, yeah, the series is wraps, bro. Curry's not playing game 5. If they couldn't win 2 games in goal, in San Francisco, if they couldn't win 2 games at Chase Center, they're not beating Minnesota tomorrow. They've tried everything they could. Pods, ship them out of there. Draymond, he was a liability. Jimmy Butler did everything he could in game 3. And he got worn out. Kuminga, it was too little too late, and then they didn't trust him in the fourth quarters. He just didn't have that switch that Curry usually has. No consistent score. This team they didn't play as hard as they should have. They didn't play with heart for Steph when it mattered. They just need Steph, man, bottom line. And this team showed you how much they rely on Steph, and it shows you how damn good Steph Curry is. He would have came in and probably won 3 of those games they lost. They probably would have won those games. But it's unfortunate. It's sad. I mean, pray for a miracle tomorrow, but it's pretty much a done deal. I've accepted it, but it was a tough season for the Warriors. Hopefully next year's better, and hopefully better for the 49ers. At the end of the day, the Warriors did make the playoffs, and they won a series. So it's better than a lot of teams can say, but I wish they were able to beat the Wolves because if Steph Curry was there, they would have beat the Wolves. But it is what it is. It's unfortunate. But we shall see you later. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'll see you later in about an hour and a half. Take care. And, pray. Yeah, Jason Tatum, my boy Throwback, says he's hurt. Yeah, that sucked. He tore his Achilles. The moment he got hurt and went down, I knew it was the mechanism of injury. I hate being a PT sometimes because you see that kind of stuff and you're like, oh, you like know the injury because you do it for a living. And it's like, oh, man, I don't want it. Like, some people speculate or like, oh, please don't let it be. But literally, as soon as an injury happens, I get like 20 people always text me initially right after the bat. What do you think it is? And I usually know what it is because, you work in the field, you work with injuries. So it sucks for Tatum. You know, I'm not a Boston fan, but you don't want to see any player get hurt. That's a tough road to recovery. I think it took Kevin Durant 18 months when he tore his Achilles. He was 30 when it happened. Tatum's 27, so maybe a little less than 18 months, but still, it's a long road to recovery, man. And he didn't tear his ACL. He tore his Achilles. It sucks. And Throwback says, it's crazy how stars go down. LeBron got hurt. This is the problem with the playoffs. You know, this is the thing. The NBA is a long season, and a lot of these stars, they do load management. Like, they take time off. They take some days off because they got to make sure they save their bodies for the playoffs. It's an 82-game season. It's a grind. And then the playoffs come, and you're playing every other day. There's no rest. You get 1 day to rest. Like Steph Curry, he hurt his hamstring, right? Because in Houston, they played 7 games. They were wrapping him up, hugging him, throwing him to the ground. They were playing him very physical. Like, I can't lie to you. Houston's a very good defensive team, but it's because they're very physical. Amen Thompson was just wrapping him up, bear hugging him. And then by the time he comes to, you know, the Wolves series, his body's wiped out. He's tired. He's tired. He's 37 years old playing 40 minutes a game. It's unfortunate. It's his first hamstring injury, but these injuries happen because these guys are not getting enough time to rest in the playoffs. The NBA, it's not what it used to be, but we're not here to talk about NBA. We're here to talk about the 49ers. We're done talking about the 49ers. I will see you soon. You guys take care. Make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate you as always. Go Niners.